All right, good afternoon. It is a dreary, snowy, yet rainy day today.
Yes.
And that's why we're filming inside, because that was not the plan originally. So
we were going to sit outside, but yeah, with the rain and the snow, it's cold.
It's very cold here. This is not what we're supposed to be doing. We're not supposed to be chasing cold weather, but I digress. Today, we were going to talk about our travels.
Yes.
So, in the 2.5 years, we have traveled to 34 states in the lower 48.
Yes.
Alaska's still on the bucket list.
Yes.
We have stayed in 68 different campgrounds. Thank you, Coco, for shaking. That does not include harvest hosts and all those other stops you do along the way. These are just campgrounds, and if we've hit these campgrounds twice, it only counted as once.
Yes.
But in with all that, we kind of went through all of our stuff and was like, okay, what is the worst? What's the best? What's the middle ground? I mean, we've seen it all.
We kind of have.
I mean, like, we're all over the place. But I think we're going to start with the worst.
Yes.
And we'll talk about the best later. Let's just get the worst out of the way.
Yeah.
So, what was number 5 of our worst campgrounds that we stayed at?
The number 5 is Natchez Trace 1,000 Trails in Tennessee.
Yep. That one was rough.
That one was rough. So the road in it's a pretty drive in.
Yeah.
But just as you get there, you have to take a little detour because there's a low bridge.
Yeah, right? I remember that.
So it's a little, you have to be very careful of the way you get in. And then once you're in the campground, the roads were super tight.
Yeah. Very
rough, like potholes and road missing at points, and then it literally goes from asphalt, dirt, back to asphalt, stuff like that. And then a lot of seasonals taking up a whole bunch of space. And so it's very tight spaces.
Yeah, if the seasonals were all in one spot, and they didn't try to wedge you one in between 3 or 4, that might be something different.
Right. And then it was super unlevel.
Yeah, very unlevel.
I had, if I remember correctly, I had wood all over the place.
Yeah, you did.
Trying to get it close to being...
Now, I will say, this was in the first part of our travels.
Yes.
So I don't remember what year it was, but I know it was in the beginning of our travels. So if you've been there recently and something has changed just comment below and let us know, because we have not been back there. So as of right now, it's hitting our worst list.
Yes.
I don't know if I want to go back and chance it unless someone tells me it's changed. But for now, that's how it made the list.
Yes.
So number 4.
This was our arch nemesis. We've done videos of
There's a video, and I will link our review on this campground.
Yes.
We stayed at this one this last winter. I guess you would call it winter, spring. This past
winter, because it was February.
Okay. This was in Florida. It was a Springs Resort.
Yes.
And I will start by saying that the people at the campground were friendly.
Yes.
We didn't have a problem with them at all. It was a lot of seasonals, which is fine. It was the staff that made it make this list. They were very hard to work with.
Oh.
We had a lot of issues with them. And it just wasn't an enjoyable experience.
Yes.
And I wouldn't call it a resort. They had things going on there, but it just...
It didn't give the resort vibe that when you hear resort, you think of one thing, and it was not that.
I will say the price was right for a month.
Yes.
The price kind of was fine.
Yeah,
it was just the staff really is what made it make our worst list.
Yeah,
which was sad.
And one of the things I feel like they made up rules. They had one very generic rule that allowed them to basically make up rules as they went.
Exactly.
So
that's why it made our worst list.
Yes.
Again, if you have been there and you have other feelings or experiences, comment below on that one as well. Number 3, we just came from.
Yes.
So it's fresh in our memory.
Very fresh in our memory.
And we won't be back. What one was that?
That was Pocono Point RV and Campground in Lehigh in Pennsylvania area.
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
It was trashy. Oh my gosh. There was a lot of seasonals there. Again, totally fine. And we didn't have any problem with that. It was 2 things. Well, 3 things. 1, the price. They charged a price like we were at a resort. This was not a resort.
No.
2, the first site that they put us in, we were going to have to, it's a back-in site, they were going to have to run our power cord under the RV, which is fine, but then we would have had to went and bought another extension cord because it was not going to reach nowhere close.
Yeah.
So I called up front to see if we could move to a pull-through right across from us. We couldn't do that one for whatever reason. No one ever came to that one. But further down the road, we could go through a pull through, and that was fine. But it was trashy. Just trash everywhere.
Yes.
And it was like, I don't understand, if you have someone that leaves, you would think you go and you check said sites to make sure they didn't leave any trash. It looks good for the next person.
Yes. Yeah.
So we just will not be there. Again, you've been there before. Please let us know in your comments below.
Yeah, what's your thoughts?
What's your thoughts? Okay, so the last 2 of our worst 5 are both in the same location.
Yes.
And you would think we would learn the first time, but the second time we went back for work and we really didn't have a choice. Number 2 was Arizona Charlie's in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Yes.
Oh boy. The Roadsmiths, you guys have stayed there, and you've had your experiences. We had ours.
They've got a video on some
stuff.
They
have a video on it, so check them out.
Yeah. It's sketchy. It's not secure.
No.
So basically, the people can come in and out without having, they just walk in.
Yeah.
In fact, if I remember correctly, that was the issue the Roadsmiths had, is the homeless were sleeping in the bathroom.
Yeah. So it just wasn't a safe feeling. I wouldn't walk the dogs by myself.
No.
It was cheap adjacent, and because we were there for work, and like say the Oasis, which is on the other side of Las Vegas, is 1, too expensive, and 2, was not convenient. We kind of were left with no options.
Yes.
And the reason we were left with no options was because our number 1 is just down the road, and we were not going back to that one.
No.
What was our number 1 for our list?
Number 1 was Las Vegas 1,000 Trails.
Oh boy.
Your arch nemesis.
Anyone that asks, what is the worst place you've ever stayed, that gets the medal. That gets the award. It never changes in my book.
It hasn't yet.
It hasn't yet. And some people love it, and I don't understand, but everyone's allowed their opinion. But it was very tight.
Yes.
Very dirty.
Yes.
I felt like I needed all my hep shots. And to maneuver like our big rig in there was difficult, doable. Obviously, we did it.
Yeah.
But not something I want to do again.
No.
The sketchy apartments behind us with the barbed wire on the fence, not great.
Not great.
The dog park.
Yeah, we found needles in the dog park.
If that's what you want to call it. It was kind of was a dirt lot.
Yeah.
It wasn't a pleasurable experience.
No.
And I will say this was years ago, right? Because it's when we were first on the road. We needed a place to stay put for the week.
Yep.
And when we were traveling, I think to California, I believe so.
And this is when I was still working full time.
Yeah. So we had to be put for the week, and it was free because it was in our 1,000 Trails.
Yeah.
And it was not fun. But if it's changed and you've been there recently, let us know on all of these, because maybe something's changed since we've been there. I just don't know if I want to chance it.
Yeah, I mean, if you stayed at one of these 5 campgrounds, put in the comments. Tell us what your thoughts are.
Yeah.
Would they make your worst list, or were they okay?
Yeah. So these were our top 5 our 5 worst. I still have a problem with that. How do you say that? Anyways, this was our list.
Our bottom 5.
Our bottom 5. That's it. It's our bottom 5. We will go and do a top 5.
Yeah.
In a later video.
Yep.
But for now, get out and enjoy your adventure, and we will see you next time. Bye, guys. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing and liking our channel. Don't forget to click that bell to be notified when we release another crazy video.